Hi students, here comes your fourth lesson in your politics, that is electoral politics. The previous chapter we had discussed about democracy, merits, demerits of democracy and important features. So now you have a clear-cut idea about democracy. And in this chapter, electoral politics, we are going to deal with the elections and election procedures and what is election. And this concept we are going to deal with this lesson. Okay, what is election? Let everybody know, you all of you know that you have clear idea about elections. We know that in our Kerala, we have April month, the last month of April, we had conduct election. That means our government had conduct elections. And through elections, we the people choose our representatives. In a democratic form of government, elections are conducted in irregular intervals. Through the elections, we the people are select our representative. Isn't it? Do you ever think without election, how can we select our representatives? Can we select our representative on the basis of age and experience? And we or without election we select our representative on the basis of their educational qualification? No. In a democratic form of government like in India, we are select our representative only through elections. And the elections, it offers many choices to the voters. Election means the people, they will select, all the people select their representative with regular intervals. And they also, if they wish, they may have to change. And people have the right to change the representatives if they wish to do. ഒരു കറക്റ്റ് റെഗുലർ ഇൻ്റർവെൽസിൽ നടത്തുന്നതാണ് നമ്മളെ റെപ്രസെൻറ്റേറ്റീവ്സിനെ ചൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന സിസ്റ്റം, ഒരു മെക്കാനിസത്തിനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ ഇലക്ഷൻ എന്ന് വിളിക്കുന്നത്. ആൻഡ് നമുക്ക് വേണമെങ്കിൽ ഒരു റെഗുലർ ഇൻ്റർവെൽസിന് ശേഷം നമ്മളെ റെപ്രസെൻറ്റേറ്റീവ്സിനെ നമുക്ക് മാറ്റാം. ഹൗ? ദാറ്റ്സ് ത്രൂ ദി ഇലക്ഷനിലൂടെ തന്നെ. അതായത് ഒരു 5 വർഷം നമ്മൾ ഗവൺമെൻറ് ഭരിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നെക്സ്റ്റ് 5 years we can replace the earlier government and we select another government. That mechanism we called it as election. And the election offers, or it makes many choices to the voters. First choices, and it offers the people to who make the laws for the country. And the second one, election offers the people which party to form government and who will take the major decision of the country. And the third one, each person in a democratic form of government, each person have right to vote and their vote have value. Each person have right to vote, that we know that we have universal adult franchise. That in an election, the voters make clear choices, and first choices, the elections offers, people want to know and people want to select who will rule the government and who will make the laws for the country. And the second one, people have choose the government and they have the right to know which party rule the government and who will make the laws for the entire country. And the last one, they can choose which party form the government and which party make the major decision of our government. And summarize, election means in democratic country, we the people are select our representative with irregular intervals, and they can also have the right to change the leaders with regular intervals if they wish to do. And this election make choices to the people. That means the people can choose their representatives, and they knows, and the election makes choices to the people, and which party rule the government, and which party make the law for the country, and who will make government, all the things it offers through the elections. The next topic, what makes an election democratic? In the previous chapter, we had learned about democracy, and some of the countries they were followed democracy and they were conducted elections. But these elections were not democratic form. Why is it so? That we explained in the previous lesson. Okay, what here in this chapter we are deal with what are the minimum condition for a democratic elections. The previous lesson we had studied different countries, many of the democratic countries they were conduct election, but these elections they were not democratic. So here we are going to deal with or going to study what are the minimum condition required for a democratic election. First one, in a democratic form of government, everybody have right to vote, and each vote have one value and it treated equally. That means universal adult franchise. Those who completed the age of 18 years old, they have the right to vote. And each one have one vote and one value treated equally. That's the first point. This is a condition or a minimum condition is essential for a democratic election. And second point, in a democratic form of government, in democracy, and the elections, and every people or every candidate or every party have free to contest election. There is no restriction. Any party or any person have the right to contest, free to contest election. There is no restriction. And the third one, which candidate chosen by the people, they should be get elected. That person should be get elected. That means ജനങ്ങൾ ഏത് കാൻഡിഡേറ്റിനാണോ തിരഞ്ഞെടുക്കുന്നത്, അവർ പ്രിഫർ ചെയ്യുന്നത് അയാളായിരിക്കണം ഇലക്റ്റഡ്. അതായത് വോട്ട് കിട്ടി കൂടുതൽ ജയിക്കുന്ന ആരാണോ അയാളെ വേണം നമ്മൾ ഇലക്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട്. ആൻഡ് ദ ഫോർത്ത് വൺ, the democratic form of government and the election should be conducted in a free and fair manner. There is no malpractices. ഒരു malpractices ഉണ്ടാവാൻ പാടില്ല. It should be conducted free and fair manner. The last point, the election should be, or the choices should be offered in regular intervals. That means the election should be offered or conducted usually regular intervals. I'm repeating first point, democratic form of government, each person has a right to vote and one vote have one value. എല്ലാ ആളുകൾക്കും വോട്ട് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള റൈറ്റ് ഉണ്ട്, ഓരോ വോട്ടിനും one value. എല്ലാം ഈക്വൽ ആയിട്ടാണ് ട്രീറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ആൻഡ് സെക്കൻഡ് വൺ, എനി പേഴ്സൺ ഓർ എനി പാർട്ടി ദേ ഹാവ് ദ റൈറ്റ് ടു കണ്ടസ്റ്റ് ഇലക്ഷൻ. ഏത് വ്യക്തിക്കും ഏത് പാർട്ടിക്കും മത്സരിക്കാം. ദർ ഇസ് നോ റെസ്ട്രിക്ഷൻ. ആൻഡ് ദ തേർഡ് വൺ, ഇറ്റ് ഓഫേഴ്സ് റെഗുലർ ഇൻ്റർവൽസ്. ആൻഡ് ദാറ്റ് മീൻസ് യൂഷ്വലി ഇലക്ഷൻ കണ്ടക്റ്റഡ് ഇൻ എ റെഗുലർ ഇൻ്റർവൽസ്. നമ്മൾ ഇന്ത്യയിൽ നമ്മൾ 5 വർഷം കൂടുമ്പോഴാണ് ഇലക്ഷൻ കണ്ടക്ട് ചെയ്യാറ്. ആൻഡ് ദ നെക്സ്റ്റ് വൺ, ആൻഡ് ദ party or the candidates that do not follow any malpractices. ഒരു malpracticesഉം ഇലക്ഷന് സമയത്ത് ചെയ്യാൻ പാടില്ല. Free and fair manner. Elections are conducted in a free and fair manner. These are the minimum condition for democratic elections. Okay, dear students, the next topic that is what is the system of election in India. Can you say that in India we are following a democratic form of elections? In India, the Lok Sabha or Vidhan Sabha, the elections are conducted regular intervals of 5 years of intervals. We have elections, and of the tenure each 5 years, each representatives their tenure came into end, and then the Lok Sabha or Vidhan Sabha it came to dissolve. And we are usually conducting elections in regular intervals, that is 5 years. That you everyone knows that. For the purpose of election, in our country or each state or each district, our state or country, and our own Kerala state is divided into different constituencies for the purpose of election. Or Kerala state, so I am saying one example, Kerala state is divided into different constituencies. Constituencies means മലയാളം വേർഡ് നിയോജക മണ്ഡലം, അതായത് ഇലക്ഷൻ പർപ്പസിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് കേരളയിൽ പല സ്ഥലങ്ങളും പല നിയോജക മണ്ഡലങ്ങളായിട്ട് ഡിവൈഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. ആൻഡ് യൂഷ്വലി the elections are conducted in same day in each constituencies. During the time of election, the elections are conducted in every constituency at the same time or at the same days or few days, within a few days. And this type of elections is known as general election. I'm repeating, the elections are conducting in every constituency at the same day or within few days elections are conducting, and this type of election is known as general election. അതായത് എല്ലാ കോൺസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യുവൻസീസിലും ഒരു ദിവസം സെയിം ഡേ ഒരു ഇലക്ഷൻ കണ്ടക്ട് ചെയ്യുകയാണെങ്കിൽ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ വിതിൻ ഫ്യൂ ഡേയ്സ് the elections are conducting, this is known as general election. And the next term, that is by election. By election, it is usually conducted in one single constituencies. It may be due to the resignation of one member, or it may be unexpected death of a member. That we can call it is a by election. അതായത് ബൈ ഇലക്ഷൻ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു കോൺസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യുവൻസിയിൽ ഏതെങ്കിലും അവിടെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്ന ഒരു മെമ്പർ ഒന്നല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആ മെമ്പർ റിസൈൻ ചെയ്യേണ്ടി വന്നാൽ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഡെത്ത് സംഭവിച്ചാൽ മാത്രമാണ് ആ ഒരു കോൺസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യുവൻസിയിൽ മാത്രം ഇലക്ഷൻ കണ്ടക്ട് ചെയ്യും. ആ ഇലക്ഷനെ വിളിക്കുന്ന പേരാണ് ബൈ ഇലക്ഷൻ. ജനറൽ ഇലക്ഷൻ മീൻസ് അറ്റ് സെയിം ഡേ ഓർ വിതിൻ ഫ്യൂ ഡേയ്സ് കണ്ടക്ട് elections in all state. By election means only one constituencies, it may be due to the death or resignation of any member. The next one, that is electoral constituencies. Constituencies, I'm told you, for the purpose of election, a country is divided into different areas. This is only for the purpose of election. This is called electoral constituencies. Election conduct ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് country divided ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടോ പല areas ആയിട്ട്. That we referred it is electoral constituencies. For example, for our Lok Sabha election, our inter-country is divided into 543 constituencies. And the representative of each constituencies is known as member of parliament or MP. And like similar case in our state also. Our state is also divided into number of areas, or that is number of constituencies. For the purpose of election, the state is divided into number of assembly constituencies, and the representatives, they were selected from each constituencies. They were known as member of legislative assembly or MLA. The electoral constituencies, it's mainly for easy purpose, it's mainly for the election purpose. Yes, we have different assembly constituencies and different constituencies for the purpose of election. And this assembly parliamentary system or this type of constituencies, it's also applicable into the lower level of our administration. That we can see in our municipality, and it also can be seen in panchayat. That we know that in our village area or urban area, this area is divided into number of wards, and from the wards we are select our representatives. That if you are more familiar with, in your panchayat member are there, and some of the municipal corporation or some of them are councillors are there. And these constituencies, this type of provision or this type of system is applicable to or applied in, not applicable, it is applied in the lower level of administrations. The next concept, that is reserved constituencies. What is reserved constituency? Reservation. What is it? Is reservation? Reservation means samvarana. We know that in our educational institution we have some of the groups have reservation. Likewise, in election, we also in India we followed some reservation. Our constitution makers, they have clear idea, or they were worried about the weaker section of our country. That means in India, every citizen has the right to elect our representatives and to make as a candidates, and they have the right to participate in election. Everyone has a right, and no one should be alienated or no one should be discriminated. Everybody have the right to contest election. So, in order to consider the weakest section of the community, our constitution, makers of constitution, they formed a reserve constituencies. അതായത് വീക്കർ സെക്ഷൻ, നമ്മുടെ സൊസൈറ്റിയിലെ എല്ലാ ആളുകളും ഹയർ സെക്ഷനിലും ഏത് സമൂഹത്തിലെ സൊസൈറ്റിയിലെ ഫസ്റ്റ് നിരയിൽ നിൽക്കുന്ന ആളുകളല്ല. ആൻഡ് സം ഓഫ് ദം ദേ വർ വീക്കർ സെക്ഷൻ, അതായത് സൊസൈറ്റിയിലെ ഏറ്റവും താഴെക്കിടയിലുള്ള ആളുകൾ. ദേ മേ ബി ദേ ഡു നോട്ട് ഹാവ് പ്രോപ്പർ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ, ഡു നോട്ട് ഹാവ് പ്രോപ്പർ ഹെൽത്ത്, ആൻഡ് ഡു നോട്ട് ഹാവ് ആക്സസ് to contact with the urban area. That means they were living in rural area, or otherwise they were living in near to forest area. Especially you may be heard that SC and ST community. SC means the scheduled caste community, ST means scheduled tribe community, and these community, they were usually referred as a reservation community. In India, the reserved constituencies are there. In the state legislative assembly, we the Kerala people, we also have reservation, because this reservation is a mainly focus on, in order to bring up this lower section of the people into the mainstream of the administration or mainstream of the society. They were always aloof from the and mainstream of the society. They were lower section, they do not have proper income. അതായത് കാശില്ലാത്ത ആളുകൾ, എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ കുറവായ ആളുകൾ. ദറ്റ് മീൻസ് റിലീജിയസ്ലി ദേ വർ ബാക്ക്വേർഡ് സെക്ഷൻ. അതായത് SC ആൻഡ് ST മീൻസ്, SC മീൻസ് ഷെഡ്യൂൾഡ് കാസ്റ്റ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ആളുകൾ, പട്ടികജാതി. ST മീൻസ് ഷെഡ്യൂൾഡ് ട്രൈബ് പീപ്പിൾ, ആൻഡ് ദേ വർ ഓൾവേസ് അലൂഫ്. അതായത് മറ്റുള്ള ജാതി സമുദായത്തിൻ്റെ കൂടെ അവർ പലപ്പോഴും അതിൻ്റെ മുൻനിരയിലേക്ക് അവർ വരാറില്ല. അവരെപ്പോഴും ബാക്ക്വേർഡ് ആയിട്ടാണ് കണക്കാക്കിയിരുന്നത്. അത് എണ്ണത്തിൽ കുറവാണ്, അവർക്ക് സാമ്പത്തികമായ മെച്ചങ്ങളോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അവർക്ക് പ്രോപ്പർ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷനോ ഒന്നുമില്ല. ആ ആളുകൾ അധിക സമയത്തും ബാക്ക്വേർഡാണ്. അവരെ മുന്നോട്ട് കൊണ്ടുവരാൻ അവർക്കും റൈറ്റ് വേണം, മീൻസ് അവർക്കും അവകാശങ്ങൾ വേണം. സോ ദ ഗവൺമെന്റ് മേഡ് റിസർവേഷൻ ഇൻ കോൺസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യുവൻസീസ് ഓൾസോ. And those persons who belonging to SC community, scheduled community, some seats are reserved in the state legislative assembly, and those seats are reserved for SC community. In these seats or in this constituency, only the person who's SC, they have the right to stand in election or contest in election. And those seats is reserved for ST community, that is a scheduled tribe community. The person who belong to ST community, they has to contest in election. ഏത് കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റിക്കാണോ സീറ്റ് റിസർവേഷൻ സീറ്റ് റിസർവ് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്, അതായത് SC കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റിക്കാണെങ്കിൽ SC കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റിയിൽ ബിലോങ് ചെയ്യുന്ന, അതിൽ SC കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റിയിലുള്ള ആളിന് മാത്രമേ ആ ഇലക്ഷനിൽ കണ്ടസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. ദെൻ STക്ക് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള റിസർവേഷൻ സീറ്റാണ് ആ ഒരു കോൺസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യുവൻസി നിയോജക മണ്ഡലമാണുള്ളതെങ്കിൽ ST കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റിയിലെ ആൾ, ഷെഡ്യൂൾഡ് ട്രൈബ് കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റിയിലെ ആളിന് മാത്രമേ മത്സരിക്കാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. ആൻഡ് ദീസ് ആർ ദ റിസർവേഷൻ സിസ്റ്റം ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് എക്സിസ്റ്റിംഗ് ഇൻ അവർ India. And likewise, this is also applicable into other backward section also, OBC, other backward community. They also have some kind of reservation also. And in local and urban area or local administration, 1/3 seats are reserved for women, because this reservation is mainly for, in order to bring the lower section of the community into the mainstream of the society. That's why our government made, or the constitution makers, they were made this type of reservation.